Hey there, folks. Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? I'm your host, Jeff, and today we've got an electrifying topic that's going to challenge everything you think you know about politics, economics, and, well, common sense. If you're sitting down with your favorite coffee, or better yet, your favorite drink, to listen to some hot takes, you've come to the right place. Buckle up. We're diving into Marxism in the modern world. Revolutionary ideas in the 21st century. And spoiler alert, it's still not working. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Marxism in the 21st century, isn't that old news? Like really old news? Like Marx is probably sitting in his grave right now saying, "What did I get wrong here?" But here's the thing: some people still swear by it. There are modern day Marxists who think that this time it's going to work. So let's give this thing a closer look, shall we? So let's rewind the clock back for a second. Back in the 1800s, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels came up with this idea that history is basically one big class struggle. You've got the rich and powerful, the bourgeoisie, and then you've got the working class, the proletariat. According to Marx, the proletariat would rise up, overthrow the bourgeoisie, and create a classless society where everyone shares everything. Sounds like utopia, right? Everyone's happy, everyone's equal, no more rich people making all the decisions for everyone else. Well, that was the plan anyway. But plot twist, it didn't really work out. In fact, every time Marxist ideas were tried, whether in Russia, China, Cuba, or Venezuela, they ended in disaster. We're talking about poverty, government oppression, and a whole bunch of people losing their freedoms. And, spoiler alert again, it's still not working in 2025. But let's look at how it plays out today, especially when some folks are still calling for Marxism to make a big comeback. First, let's talk about the economy. Marx said the workers would rise up because the capitalist system is inherently exploitive. The rich would get richer, while the poor would stay poor. And I get it. There's a certain appeal to emotion in that. It sounds kind of fair, right? Who wants the rich to keep getting richer while the poor stay stuck in place? But here's the problem. Marxism doesn't seem to understand incentives. When you take away the ability of people to make a profit, you stop the drive for innovation. And guess what happens when you stop innovation? You stop everything. Ask Venezuela, where they tried to implement Marxist policies and saw their economy collapse, or Cuba, where basic necessities like food and medicine are still in short supply. You see, capitalism, for all its flaws, creates an environment where people can take risks, make mistakes, and this is the important part, learn. It incentivizes people to come up with new ideas that improve life. Sure, some people make a lot of money, but others benefit too. Without those incentives, all you get is stagnation and poverty. Look at Cuba. Now let's talk about freedom. One of Marx's core ideas was that once the workers took control, we would have a classless, stateless society. But that's not what happened, is it? In every place where Marxist revolutions took place, what followed was a huge government that controlled everything. There were no freedoms. In fact, governments that tried to implement Marxism were often more oppressive than the capitalist government they replaced. Lenin, Stalin, and Mao, those guys didn't exactly live up to the Marxist idea of a society free from oppression. Instead, they created regimes that controlled every aspect of your life, the NKVD, from what you ate to where you were to what you could say and even think. Political correctness. And let's not forget about the human cost. We've all heard the stories, millions of lives lost under Marxist regimes. In the Soviet Union under Stalin, we're talking about forced labor camps, mass executions, and famines. In China under Mao, there was the Great Leap Forward, which led to a devastating famine and millions of deaths. It's easy to forget that these were the revolutionary ideas being put into practice. And what did we get in return? More oppression and more death. Man, it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's like herpes. So, fast forward to today, we've got some modern day Marxists who say, this time it'll be different. But how? Well, they've got ideas like democratic socialism, which they claim is the way to go. But let me ask you this. If you're still relying on government to redistribute wealth and tell you how to live, how is that any different from what Marx envisioned? Sure, you can vote for the policies, but the end result is the same. A bigger government, less freedom, and fewer opportunities for you to make decisions about your own life. And if you're still skeptical, just look at countries like North Korea or Cuba, where the government is still hanging on to Marxist principles and it, well, not exactly working out. People are still struggling and freedom is still out of reach. If Marxism were the key to prosperity, those places would be thriving. Instead, they're living proof of the dangers of too much government control. So what does all this mean for us today? Well, it's a reminder to be very careful when someone tells you that the solution to society's problems is more government control or a radical overhaul of the system. Marxism sounds great in theory, but in practice, it's been a disaster every time it's been tried. And you know what? That's why we're here on Are You Smarter Than a Libertarian? We're all about liberty, individual freedom, and smart solutions. Thank you for tuning in today, folks. I hope this episode helped you see that some ideas are better left in the dustbin of history. If you like what you heard, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and drop a comment. Share this with your Marxist friends. Play this for your professors. New videos drop every day. Until tomorrow, stay free, stay informed, and stay accountable.